What's up YouTube, Jeff back again, and today it is iPhone launch day. I just unboxed my brand new iPhone 11 Pro Max in the beautiful colorway, and if you got one of these phones today, you're going to want to get started by setting up some key things to make sure you get the best experience with your phone. This is my first 10 things to do with your iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max. Now, of course, we know the iPhone's a very expensive device, just like our high-end Android phones like the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, which I just finished covering. So, of course, if you get this device, you're probably going to want something to protect it on a daily basis. I highly recommend getting a quality case to use with your iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max. I am using the UAG plasma case that you guys can see right here as my daily driver here to start off. I'm going to have a whole lot more cases coming up soon, but a couple reasons I like the UAG plasma. One, you can see the color on the back, so I can still see this beautiful green color. They have reinforced corners for drop protection. The buttons are always on point, very tactile and responsive, and you have very nice access to all the ports with a nice lip around front so that you can sit the phone face down. So I will put the link in the description to the UAG plasma case. Huge shout out to them for sending it out to me. And I'll have a lot more case reviews coming up soon for the iPhone 11 Pro series. My next tip for setting up your iPhone 11 Pro is to go into the settings and check out the notification settings. There's a couple of things you're going to want to take a look at. The first one is whether or not you want to show previews for your notifications on the lock screen. This is set to show always by default, which means you're going to see previews on the lock screen as well as if you actually just have your sort of drop-down notifications there. That's something you might want to consider changing. It's really up to you and how much privacy you want with your device. You can also go down here and change sort of how all the notifications appear for your various apps, whether or not you want banners, sounds, badges, etc. It shows you how those various notifications will look on the lock screen, notification center, and the banners that will pop up when you're in other apps. So you might want to tweak these for the various apps. Some of them you might not want to have the banners pop up. Other ones you might want to get notifications for automatically and right away. And it's just really up to you, but you should definitely peruse those so you get the best notification experience on your device. The next thing I recommend you do on the iPhone 11 Pro is to go into the settings and set up a do not disturb schedule. This is great for when you go to sleep at nighttime. You may not want to have certain apps sort of dinging and sort of giving you notifications to wake you up. You can easily turn on do not disturb in the schedule mode by setting the times right there. Say if you go to sleep at 10 p.m., wake up at 7 a.m., you can choose to turn on do not disturb and only get calls or messages from people that you prioritize. You can do that there at the very bottom. You can also dim the lock screen when you are in do not disturb mode, like this right here. That way, if you have this sitting on the charger at home, you don't have to worry about having any issues with this waking you up or waking up your partner when you're in the bedroom and it's dark at nighttime. The next thing on my list is to create a few nice shortcuts. Now, there's this great mode with the new version of iOS where you can create shortcuts and actually use those shortcuts through Siri to sort of call and get some very interesting sort of integration with your device. Now, I've set up a couple of basic ones just to show you how this works. One thing that I visit all of the time is my work email. So I set up a shortcut in the Shortcut app where I can just ask Siri to open up my mail like this. GCU Mail. And you can see it will open up the browser and launch my mail app. Now you can also do something, say if you want to get your weather forecast. I set up my weather app, which is Dark Sky, to give me my weather forecast.
Here's the forecast for today.
Right there, very nice. You can set it up and it'll easily give you the forecast from Dark Sky or whatever other service you sort of set as your default. You can set up an action that will launch to that shortcut. We'll give you some suggestions there at the below, like I said before, with, for instance, your weather forecast and precipitation alerts. Next, we all know that using phones in 2019 can sometimes get in the way of other sort of daily functions. Sometimes you want to schedule some time away from your device, and you can do that easily in iOS by scheduling downtime. The way you want to do that is to go into screen time, and you can go into the downtime option. If you turn this on, you'll be able to turn on downtime either every day or custom days, and this will allow you to basically wind down. During the downtime, only apps that you choose and allow phone calls will be available. So this is a little bit different than Do Not Disturb, where you still get all of your notifications, but here you don't even see the notifications and things from certain apps, perhaps like social media, etc. This sort of gives you a break from your device if you feel like you're getting sort of a sensory overload from Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all those sorts of things. There's also lots of other things you can do from within the Screen Time app. You can set limits, time limits on various apps like social media. And if you have sort of kids who are using a particular device, you can do content and privacy restrictions as well on their device, so that way you can set it up so that they can't visit certain sites or content. Next is a really simple thing which Apple kind of hid in the settings that I know a lot of people are interested in. I made a video about this when they originally buried this a few years ago, and that is the auto brightness setting. A lot of people want to turn that off. It's no longer in the display settings, it's actually down here in accessibility. So if you go into the accessibility menu, you'll see that there's an accessibility display option. And then if you scroll down to the very bottom, they hid auto brightness right there. So if you don't like having auto brightness on, you can turn it off. I just wanted to share with you guys where it's located so you can make a decision if you want to use it or not. Now, certain times of day, I like to manually tweak my brightness. So sometimes I like to turn that off, and it is nice to have the option. When you get a brand new device, of course, you're also concerned with the day-to-day appearance of the device, and you're going to be looking at your lock screen and home screen quite a bit. So you're going to want to get a nice custom wallpaper. The one I'm using is from an app that I highly recommend that's been on Android for quite a while. It's called Wally. It's now on iOS. It's right there. There's a lot of really amazing wallpapers in here. It is an ad-supported app, but you can pay $3.99 to remove the ads. Some really nice creative wallpapers, simplistic wallpapers, landscapes, anything you're interested in. These are uploaded by artists that create the wallpaper, so if you do buy the premium version, you're also supporting some of the artists that do upload this artwork to the Wally app. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of great wallpaper apps on Android, so I'm glad that some of those are making the migration over to iOS, and this is one I can highly recommend, and I will link it below in the description. Another piece of customization you can do with iOS is to try a third-party keyboard, and I highly recommend it just because there's some things you can do with third-party keyboards that you can't do with the iOS keyboard. I recommend Gboard, which is the Google keyboard. I use it on Android quite a bit. You can change the theme, you can do swipe, all sorts of very cool things with Gboard. It is nice to have all these various options on a third-party keyboard, which you can enable inside iOS in the settings. There's lots of other great options, of course, but Gboard is the one that I would recommend if you want to try out a third-party keyboard for the first time. And again, I will link it below in the description to the App Store so that you can actually grab that if you want to get Gboard. Privacy is, of course, always an important issue. One thing I would recommend doing as soon as you unbox the phone is going into your privacy settings and checking in particular all of the apps that are using your location so that you know exactly when they're using it. On iOS, it shows you if the apps are allowed to always use the location, only use the location while you're actually using the app, or if it has to ask you every time. Now, depending on the app, you may want to restrict the location usage depending on if it's something like, Google Maps, where you might always want it to use your location. If it's something like a, movie app, maybe you don't want to allow it to use it all the time, only while it's actually inside the app, which is what I have set for Flickster. So I highly recommend reviewing these for all of your apps and make sure that you know exactly how those apps are using a location to protect your privacy. The final thing on my list is something that's actually prompted during the setup of the iPhone, but it's something a lot of people usually skip just so they can get through the setup process initially, and that is to set up your Apple cards inside Apple Pay using Wallet, either your Apple card that you actually signed up for, the new credit card through Apple, or one of your own credit cards. You can easily do that by pressing the plus button here, go through and enter your card number or take a picture. It'll automatically prompt you to verify through your card issuer, and then it'll be added to your wallet. Of course, you can also store lots of cool things like coupons and airline tickets within Wallet, but it is nice to have a credit card so that you can use Apple Pay daily, a very convenient way to pay for things at your favorite locations, restaurants, supermarkets, etc. Alright guys, those are my 10 things to do with your new iPhone 11 Pro or 11 Pro Max. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification icon so I can make future videos like this. I'm going to have a whole bunch more content with the iPhone 11 Pro Max, case reviews, comparisons to your favorite Android headsets as well. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, drop them below and I will get back to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.